Eh, one of the troubles with shooting in the morning, it's always the sun in my eyes. It never fails. I am in the backyard here of the former home site of H.P. Ijams, of the famous H.P. Ijams Nature Center in South Knoxville, Tennessee. This is the backyard of the Ijams family home. And what today is today it's a preschool that is on the former site of the Ijams home. It is a full-time preschool for children to learn about nature, the natural world, and themselves. Funny story. This is where I first discovered Ijams Nature Center. It was on a morning walk in the fall of 2021. And I had heard about this place, but I wasn't sure where it was at, okay? And so, I kind of took the trail route. And the trails to get to here, to get to Ijams Nature Center, the best way by trail is to go through the Island Home neighborhood. There is a trail that runs along the Island Home neighborhood on the Tennessee River. It's called the Will Skelton Trail. And if you take that trail, you will run right into Ijams Nature Center and the home site of the former H.P. Ijams family. Well, in 2021, I was a homeless man new to Knoxville. And I was a homeless man who had been 6 years on the streets of America, sleeping in picnic pavilions, fields, out in the woods, in back alleys, and such. One, because I hated institutional shelters, and two, I hated neighbors for the most part. So here I was at some early morning in the backyard of this wonderland that I had just walked into after going through the very, very upscale neighborhood of Island Home. Beautiful homes, beautiful houses along the Tennessee. So here I was at Ijams Nature Center, and I didn't even know I was here. All I could think about as I recorded a post for YouTube was, my God, this is gorgeous. This is unbelievable. I'd love to have a home one day like this. But more importantly, God, I hope they don't catch me. You know, it's like, wow, this is really a backyard. These people really know how to have a backyard, you know? I just didn't want to be caught. So I never did, actually, that morning at dawn, make it to the front of the house because I just, you know, I just didn't want to get caught by anyone. Certainly not the homeowners, you know. What are you doing here at, 6 in the morning? Of course, never knowing that the irony is if I did ever come around that building to the front, I would have seen that it was a preschool and an education building, not a private home. But life can be very serendipitous. And when I left the Will Skelton Greenway and serendipitously walked in to the backyard of the Ijams Homesite, I was both astounded and awed and paranoid as hell. All right. The life of a homeless man. I'd like to tell you about the life of a father now. This cold, crisp December morning here in Ijams Nature Center. Ijams' 4 girls would take off and play in the hills here, the 10 acres or so that H.P. Ijams and his wife Alice owned here outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. They would go to the John Hay house. If you remember one of my previous posts, and play around there. John Hay, a very close neighbor of the Ijams family. And one of the places the girls would also go to is the Tennessee River, which is very close to here. And H.P. Ijams kind of had problems with that. With the girls swimming and playing in the Tennessee River as young girls. You see there is what today is called the Lotus Pond. The network of short trails explores the eastern slope of the original Ijams 20-acre property The trees are some of the grandest in the park. Many of the oaks are at least 130 years old. It's also one of the best places to find woodland wildflowers, the ephemerals that come and go so quickly in the spring. On the left side of the trail, you'll find twin leaf, larkspur, trillium, bloodroot, habica, toothwort, and trout lily in the late March and April. The pond at the bottom of the hill is man-made, created by damming the small stream in 1922. H.P. Ijams built the spring-fed pool as a safe place for his 4 daughters to swim. Originally called Lake Avis by the family, its name was changed to the Lotus Pond because of the Egyptian lotuses, water lilies planted in it. Today, look for a wide variety of wildlife in and around the pond, including dragonflies, water snakes, snapping and painted turtles, wood ducks, and even an occasional green heron in the summer. Barred owls can be seen in the trees along the wetlands that drains the pond year-round. And there is the Ijams girls at play in the pond their father created. A view of the pond shortly after it was built in 1922. Mary Ijams is in the canoe, and Sister Martha watching from the island. Let's have a look. This Christmas time in South Knoxville, Tennessee. The Ijams were naturalists, environmentalists, long before it was cool to be naturalists and environmentalists. They climbed Mount LeConte in the Smokies. They were part of a hiking club. And of course, throughout the 20s and the 30s, they helped to bring the hills there of the Great Smokies to becoming a national park. They were one of many Knoxvillians who took advantage of the Smoky Mountains and promoted it when they could, and helped the establishment of a national park in 32, was it? In fact, many neighbors in downtown Knoxville. Now, downtown Knoxville, you have to remember, around the turn of the century and throughout actually much of the 20th century was industry, was manufacturing, was factory life. And so many times, many people would take the trolley out here, to the sticks, to the suburbs here, and see some of the wonders on the Ijams family farm. Ijams are great in promoting their life and their lifestyle out here. HP was a bird watcher. He began, I believe, the Knoxville chapter of ornithologists. His wife Alice was one of the founding members of the garden club and was president of the Knoxville Garden Club at one time. The girls, all four girls, were Girl Scouts during the day. And so they were quite a contrast in their ways and habits to what people experienced and knew living in and around Knoxville, Tennessee during the first half of the 20th century, the scruffy city of Knoxville. And they would come out to see and enjoy some of the wonders that were out here in nature. The Ijams family pond. Patriarch H.P. Ijams originally built this spring-fed pond in 1922. As the story goes, he wanted his 4 daughters to avoid the currents of the nearby river and have a safe place to swim and paddle their canoe. It was a family gathering place for decades. As with any man-made pond, nature slowly reclaims it. Today it is reverting to a natural wetland, complete with water-loving plants and animals. There you see the girls, the 4 Ijams daughter, Joe, Martha, Mary, and Elizabeth in the canoe, enjoying their pond built by their father. Then and now. Sure is nice to have a daddy like that, huh? One so worried and concerned about his daughters. Safety. And development. As you can see, much of the original pond is gone. But it is emblematic of the Ijams couple and their desire to raise their children to love and appreciate the natural world around them. There's a better idea there. The home would be up on the hill there. I believe this is the stream. That fed the pond, which Ijams used to build the pond as a gift to his 4 daughters. It's Christmas time. At Ijams Nature Center. In South Knoxville. Former home of H.P. Ijams, his wife Alice, and their 4 daughters.